It really is something for everybody, and there's opportunities for every person.
We've had many highlights this year, including amazing growth. As a state's leader in providing opportunities for Iowans to live a healthier lifestyle.
Look around on the website. Is there something that you think you might be good at that you've never tried before? Just sign up.
Welcome to the 2023 Iowa Sports Foundation Year in Review. I'm your host, Rod Bodholt. On today's program, we'll take a look back at another successful year at the Iowa Sports Foundation, featuring all the competitions and programs that fill up the ISF calendar. On today's show, we'll talk with a few of the athletes and competitors who've helped make 2023 special. But we'll start the program by visiting with Iowa Sports Foundation CEO Chuck Long. That conversation is coming up next.
When change and uncertainty define the times, it's good to anchor to your roots, to honor and nurture them, to remember how it all started, and let that help build the future. Because we know a strong future is built on a solid past, and that past promises mean future follow-through. You can trust us to protect what you grow, build, own, and value. Trust in tomorrow with Grinnell Mutual.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture.
It's important to get the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start.
Nothing can compare to that.
We offer options and research and clinical care that isn't available anywhere else in Iowa.
We really have here world-class healthcare right in your backyard.
From a treatment perspective, from a research perspective, anything that I need to better my patients, the university provides.
This is why we become a doctor.
Together.
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 Together, we're University of Iowa Healthcare.
Welcome back to the show. Chuck Long's tenure with the Iowa Sports Foundation features growth in programs and participants, and there's plenty for Chuck and his team to be proud of again in 2023. We'll kick off this program by sitting down with Chuck Long to get his thoughts on another great year for the Iowa Sports Foundation.
I'm very proud of the fact I've been here 9 years, really enjoyed it. We've had many highlights this year, including amazing growth in the corporate games with over 140 companies this year competing, and Adaptive Sports Iowa increased participation by over 40% from 2022. There were over 12,000 athletes in the Iowa games. Live Healthy Iowa participants reported over 16.3 million minutes of activity, and our oldest participant in the Iowa Senior Games was 96 years young. From an overall standpoint, as the CEO, I just love the fact and very proud of the way our staff, commissioners, and volunteers all work together. Many of the participants really don't see what happens behind the scenes, but we have volunteers who have been around for 30 years. And that's just amazing to me when I see the way they intertwine together and how they collaborate with our staff and our commissioners. And I'm really proud of our staff, the way they work diligently all year long. One of the things that really stood out to me this past year from an event standpoint was our Adaptive Sports Iowa RAGBRAI cycling team. And they came from all over the country, and there was over 70 people involved with that, with our volunteers and our riders. And we have riders with spinal cord injuries, and we have blind riders on tandem bikes with volunteers. And what stuck out this past year, it was a very hot week. I mean, there was temperatures that got up to 100 degrees. And they went from the western border of Iowa all the way to Mississippi nonstop, staying in different overnight towns, of course, but it is quite a process. I just marveled at our director, Hannah Bowman, and what her and her staff and volunteers put together that week, and to really have a well-executed plan of riders that came from all over the country. Very impressive. And I also want to mention that that cycling team is sponsored by Iowa Farm Bureau. They're firmly behind us with that. But that's the one event that stuck out last year, just because of the heat of the summer and reaching 100 degrees, and also the execution of it all week long. I'm very proud of the fact that we have programs, events, and challenges for people with all ages and all abilities. And not everybody can say that nationally, and we're very proud of the fact that we can do that and say that. And You know, we have all ages, all abilities from 5 years old to, as I mentioned, 96 years old. So very proud of the fact that we have that, and excited that moving forward that we're going to continue to have that in all of our programs, events, and challenges.
Congratulations again to Chuck and the entire staff at the Iowa Sports Foundation as another successful year comes to a close. But this show is just getting started. After this quick timeout, we'll start shining the spotlight on the athletes. Stay with us.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week, it's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop, and count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy.
At Mediacom, we believe that whether you live here, or right here, or way out in the middle of anywhere, you should have access to fast, reliable internet. That's why we were one of the first to bring gig speeds to every customer we serve. Why we're blazing new paths to bring fast internet even further. And why we're leading the way in developing one of the nation's first 10G platforms. It doesn't matter where you are. With Mediacom, you're always moving forward.
Welcome back to the Iowa Sports Foundation Year in Review. The Iowa Games continues to be the heartbeat of the ISF calendar and a staple of summertime in the state of Iowa. The Games always feature some of the best athletes in the state, and you can now include the name Joey Dursky on that list. Let's visit with the 2023 Marty McCone Male Athlete of the Year.
So what I wanted to do was get back in shape. I was a high school athlete, a college athlete. And then once I dropped some pounds, I felt like I was in pretty good shape. I thought, well, what can I do with this newfound body and physique that I have? So just started poking around online and found the Iowa Games. I was within 6 or 8 weeks of the Winter Iowa Games for 2023 and saw the Ninja Warrior competition on there. And I was like, all right, I watch that stuff on TV. That's pretty cool. I've always wondered if I could do that. Maybe just give it a try. So I showed up with no training, no regiment, no practice whatsoever, just thinking, you know, I'm strong for my weight. I just lost 25 pounds. Like, let's give this a try. And man, it is a lot harder than it looks, but it was a ton of fun. The camaraderie was there. I mean, everybody's there for the same reason. It was a lot of fun to go through that day. I was nervous all up until my run, but as soon as that buzzer sounded, all the nerves went away. I just wanted to try my best. I learned a lot about it, and if it's posted again for this year's Winter Iowa Games, I want to give it another try. I had always played all sorts of sports in and out of high school and college, but even more than that, you know, the side games with friends, the skipping rocks on the river sort of stuff. There's always some sort of competition, and through that you figure out what you're good at and what you're not good at, and then it's just look around on the website. Is there something that you think you might be good at that you've never tried before? Just sign up. I mean, the worst thing that's gonna happen is you show up, you get a little bit of nervous, and what happens if you win? Like, that's the cool part about it, is you never know until you try. So at the Iowa Games, being the first time I ever even tried it, I actually did pretty well. So I signed up for 6 events for track and field. I ended up winning 4 of them, and then ended up with a bronze in the 100-meter dash. That one, man, I wish it could have been electronic timing, because I think that one might have just been the stopwatch. It was 3/100ths of a second to give me a gold medal. When we finished, the other guy and I talked about it. We didn't know who won. We couldn't tell it was that close. So may have been robbed out of a gold medal in the 100, may not have. I definitely deserved the bronze in high jump though, the guys that I went against. There was a dude in his 40s still jumping over 6 foot. And I was like, okay, he clearly deserves to win. But ended up pulling the gold in shot put, discus, long jump, the 100 10-meter high hurdles, and then that second place in the 100 and third in high jump. So 6 events, 6 medals, 4 of them being gold. It was a pretty good day. I knew that I had been nominated for it, but I had completely forgot about it because nominations were due back in like August or something like that. Had completely forgot about it, and then I received an email the other day, and I didn't even necessarily know that I had won it at that point. So I read the email saying, hey, would you like to come in for an interview? We want to talk to you about it. I thought maybe, you know, I became a finalist or something like that. The email didn't specifically say that I had won. So I agreed to it. I thought, that might be cool. Let me take a little bit of time off of work, go up, talk about my experience. It might help inspire others. Always a good thing to do. So I started poking around online. I was like, well, I want to watch last year's and see how that interview went and things like that. And when I started looking it up, I actually saw this year's results listed on the Iowa Games page. So I was like, oh, I found my own spoiler alert. I guess I've already won. But I haven't told anybody about it yet. I didn't want to tell anybody until after I met with you guys, after I came in and gave this interview, because I didn't know what that was going to look like. I didn't want any spoiler alerts out there floating around. I wanted to see what this production was going to be like and then share that with my family and friends and let everybody know kind of how this year went. I would say go to the events, even if you're not competing. If you have friends or family that might be doing it, you hear somebody else talking about it that they might be doing it. I brought friends with me when I went to compete, the summer and the winter both. I didn't go alone. So it's nice to share that experience with friends. And then through talking about the results, talking about it with family, everybody's like, you know what, I could use a little kick in the butt to get me back in shape too, and then use that towards something. Years and years ago, it was probably 30 years ago, my dad competed in the Iowa Games in the Taekwondo competition, and he came home with some medals. So, I mean, it's stuff like that that I remember from years ago that kind of helped push me in that right direction. And people talking about it, that camaraderie that comes along with it. Now I have friends wanting to set up a 4x1 team to try to compete because they saw how I did. And it's just one of those things that's like, let's bring the old high school group out of retirement and get us 4 in there. Could be a lot of fun, gives us an excuse to stay in shape, keep the doctors off our backs now that we're in our 40s. I mean, it's just a fun experience.
Quite a year for Joey Dursky, and you can bet he'll be back for more in 2024. Let's take another time out on the show. When we come back, we'll shine the spotlight on another amazing athlete who's making the most of every opportunity. Stay with us.
We are Wellmark. What makes us different makes us great. We're based in the communities we serve. Unlike our competitors, we're owned by our members rather than a distant stockholder. This means we focus on our customers, not our stock price. Since our beginning, we have worked to shape the healthcare industry through innovation and leadership, helping people take control of their well-being and improving their lives.
At Iowa State, innovation takes many shapes. It could be students creating affordable housing with 3D printers, or using precision ag to improve the resilience of our nation's farmers. Research dream teams developing nano-vaccines to prevent serious illness, or up-and-coming designers starting their own fashion brand. Iowa State is the university where innovators create meaningful change and transform industries, and where the future takes shape.
Welcome back to the show. Adaptive Sports Iowa provides many great opportunities for competition and physical activity for those with disabilities. Michael Hatfield has spent his entire life overcoming adversity and loving sports. Through Adaptive Sports Iowa, Michael truly appreciates every opportunity to compete.
I have polio, or status post-polio now. I've been using crutches, braces my whole life, and just I've gotten involved with Adaptive Sports Iowa through talk that someone in the past had done, about sports that were tailored to people with adaptive needs, not your traditional sports. And I'm definitely always been an athlete of some sort, whether I'm, if you talk to anybody I know, they know I'm competitive. So this was kind of right up my avenue. I think that was back in 2011, I believe. It's kind of when I first heard about Adaptive Sports Iowa, and then just kind of been a part of the program and everything since then. As far as my situation, I tried to do everything that I could do. It's obviously, I did basketball for sure, wheelchair basketball, which I loved. And I had played with a group in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area prior to that. So I had some experience with that. Obviously, RAGBRAI I've always wanted to do. I'm from Iowa, so it's one of those things you grew up hearing about RAGBRAI, and I always tell everybody, I think it almost should be like a rule. Everybody from Iowa should at least do RAGBRAI for part of a day. Don't have to do the whole day, but just to get the experience. It's not even if you go down and visit. I still, I haven't ridden in a couple of years, but I still go down and visit the team and just, get out there and, help support. I've done sled hockey, which it's a youth program, but I'm a little bit smaller in stature below, so I was able to sneak in and do that, and I've never done that before, and that was fun. When I do tennis in the summer or a spring-summer type program, that's to some extent even more physical than even basketball, because you're constantly moving, trying to, a lot of the rules in a lot of these sports don't change very much. They're all the same rules except for maybe an extra dribble with basketball or an extra bounce with tennis. You have very minor adjustments, but other than that, everything else is actually the same as able-bodied sports. So you still, they're not tailoring them or they're not changing them, drastically for us to participate. They're just modifying it a little bit. So staying active, I think that's my main thing, is to be active, keep going. I'm 45 right now, but and so it's fun. It's in the camaraderie and everything like that. So it means I can feel like, I guess, like every able-bodied person. It's like you watch sports on TV, you're like, I watch basketball more just because I play basketball, and I'm like, you kind of pick up on what they're doing on the court. How can that apply to me? Tennis, I never was a tennis guy, to be honest, but I've kind of started watching more tennis. I actually, thank God for YouTube TV or whatever, you can watch these things and watch how these guys and gals, approach the sports. I think it definitely keeps me in touch, just more normal, quote unquote normal. It's even, so my normal is everything I do. So that's just how it is for me. Being able to interact with other people of not necessarily the exact same situation, but close, that you can, talk about things. You can, in not a serious way even, just, be like, hey, I've experienced this. What have you guys done? Or, a lot of the other guys and gals that I, play with are in wheelchairs full time. And so I don't know what their situation, everybody's situation is different, but I can relate a little bit or give my advice, with, I found this helpful, especially on RAGBRAI when you're out with 10, 15,000 other people that are, riding along and you're doing your thing, and we have our own little area, like everybody has their little tent area, but it's like, we're close to like bathrooms and things like that, but it's the little things I feel that make the biggest difference. We're just doing our thing. We just want to be known, that we're here. We're not going to, people that have different needs, still can do everything, most everything that everybody else can do. ASI has given me a lot of self-me. I grew up in Cedar Rapids. There weren't a lot of opportunities. Did it really help? Both mentally, physically, and just everything. So I've been very happy, been very proud, things like that.
Michael Hatfield, another great Adaptive Sports Iowa story and an inspiration to us all. Let's take a quick break on the show. When we come back, we'll hear about an Iowa company that is all about the business of being active. Stay with us.
At MediaCom, we believe that whether you live here, or right here, or way out in the middle of anywhere, you should have access to fast, reliable internet. That's why we were one of the first to bring gig speeds to every customer we serve. Why we're blazing new paths to bring fast internet even further. And why we're leading the way in developing one of the nation's first 10G platforms. It doesn't matter where you are. With MediaCom, you're always moving forward.
Welcome back to the Iowa Sports Foundation Year in Review. The Iowa Corporate Games features a series of events and competitions that promote teamwork, company pride, and corporate wellness. West Des Moines-based American Equity has become a regular in the corporate games. Derek Johnson leads those efforts, and he says it's become part of the culture at American Equity.
My name is Derek Johnson. I'm with American Equity. I've been with American Equity for just over 5 years, about 5.5 years now. And actually, when I started with American Equity, one of my very first tasks or projects was, hey, we're getting involved in this opportunity called Corporate Games this year, and we want you to lead that. And so kind of since I've been with American Equity, Corporate Games has just kind of gone along with that. So we got involved with the opportunity to participate in the Corporate Games from some of our programs, and someone had reached out and said this is something that, hey, you guys should get involved with. And I've just kind of taken it since then and just really had the ability to help grow that and get more participants each year and just have it become something that is just ingrained into our culture at American Equity. Really, I mean, I would like to say that I sold it to them, but it kind of sells itself. So the opportunity to get involved with other coworkers, other team members that you normally wouldn't be able to see. You know, a lot of people will work within their own specific teams, but they don't get the opportunity to meet a lot of people outside of that and interact with them. So being able to do that on a regular basis was something that people were excited about. And, you know, obviously, as people tend to do, they enjoy athletic competition or just competition in general. So that always is another, you know, enticing factor for people to participate and get to meet people from other companies that might be in similar roles. The great thing about the Corporate Games, as obviously you all know and a lot of people know, is it is exactly what you make of it, right? So it can be, you know, just that small opportunity to interact with coworkers outside of your everyday work experience, but it could also be so much more. Like you could make it into something that really helps push you to, you know, new limits and try to change yourself. And we have a couple individuals, one that, you know, just participated in an event. I actually had to convince her to participate in the pickleball event, and after doing so just fell in love with it, right? Just wanted to play all the time, and actually ended up starting her own group in Polk City for pickleball, and that's just kind of blown up for her, and they play every Sunday now. They, you know, like, it's just continued to evolve. And then another individual started their weight loss journey through the Corporate Games. They just got involved in a couple activities, and, you know, they used that as an opportunity to really do something that they'd been wanting to do for a while, and since then has just continued to use those activities to push themselves and kind of challenge themselves in new ways. I'll get the email and I'll get information saying, like, you know, make sure to register your company, but at the same time, people that have signed up for it, you know, will get the notifications that, you know, Corporate Games 2024, when that email goes out, oh boy, I get dozens of emails forwarded to me saying, are we signed up yet? Have you signed us up yet? Are we still doing this? You know, so people love it. They want to do it. They want to participate. You know, year after year, people just continue to just get involved, tell their coworkers, you know, it's getting harder and harder every year as we get more and more people to get everybody involved in those team activities, but we still find a way to do it, and there's so many individual opportunities for people to get involved as well. So it really is something for everybody, and there's opportunities for every person at every company to get involved. The first year that we, you know, got involved with it was a little bit different than it is now, right? Like we were just trying to, like, you know, bare bones, just fill these activities and events because not a lot of people knew about it. And now, you know, I'm having to just fight people off for these team events and things like that. So it's fantastic. I think once people realize exactly what it is, because I think that there's a lot of initially, before it gets explained, uncertainty about, you know, what's involved and what's entailed, and I think people are a little scared or skeptical about, you know, if I show up at this athletic event, you know, like track and field, for example, like, is it going to be Olympic athletes all over the place? And I always have to tell them, like, you're going to be fine. Like, everyone is feeling the same things that you are, and once they get there and they realize that, they're like, I can't believe that, like, I never wanted to do this before, and it's just so great. So we just continue to see people over and over just want to get involved and want to be a part of these activities. It's really great because, you know, like I mentioned before, not necessarily everybody gets the chance to meet coworkers outside of their normal department. So there's been numerous times where I've had people, you know, that I've talked to in passing and say, like, oh yeah, like, you know, I had this project or that project, and, you know, I wasn't sure who to talk to, but then I remembered that, you know, Jim, for example, you know, said he worked in the accounting team. So I sent a message to him and was able to get something, you know, processed or find the right person. So there are certainly benefits outside of the normal you know, activities and health reasons and things like that, but just getting to know people within your own company and being able to just make those new connections and, you know, further establish those relationships with your team members. First of all, sign up. The next thing I would say is, you know, there's very little downside to doing it. I haven't encountered anybody from any company that has participated in the Corporate Games, whether it's as an admin or as a participant, that has said, I've had a poor experience or it wasn't worthwhile, right? It's certainly going to be a benefit to engage your team members. If we're talking numbers, the ROI, if we're going to get into all that, to engage your team members, insane how effective it would be to do so. But it's just an opportunity for people to really get excited, to rally around it, to help build, a culture of, we care about our employees and we want to do something that's going to make them care about their teammates, right? So you get to know people on a personal level that you normally wouldn't get to, which just continues to foster that positive culture within your organization.
That's a great story, and if you're looking to jumpstart the new year at your workplace, check out the Iowa Corporate Games. Stay with us on the Iowa Sports Foundation Year in Review. We'll take one more break and then be back to wrap things up.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
When change and uncertainty define the times, it's good to anchor to your roots, to honor and nurture them, to remember how it all started, and let that help build the future. Because we know a strong future is built on a solid past, and that past promises mean future follow-through. You can trust us to protect what you grow, build, own, and value. Trust in tomorrow with Grinnell Mutual.
Welcome back to the show. Cory Kennedy is the Director of Marketing for the Iowa Sports Foundation, and he's seen a lot in his 17 years on the job. Let's take a trip down memory lane with Cory Kennedy.
Being here for, this was my 17th year in September, so obviously I've seen a lot of changes, and especially with technology. When I first started, online registration was fairly new. Back in 2006, when I was an intern, actually in 2003, we still did a lot of paper entry forms, and we spent a lot of time just entering those into our system. But over the years, we have evolved so much with our online registration process and how people register. I mean, today, with all of our events and programs, about 90% register online. So it's been a fun challenge for me as far as from a marketing standpoint to be able to, let's say, invent new ways to get people to register and tell people about the Iowa Games or Live Healthy Iowa or anything that we do at the Iowa Sports Foundation. And it's really challenged me, and I guess it's made me a better marketer, and it's been kind of fun, especially in the nonprofit world, to be able to produce some of the things that we've done, whether it's videos like this or a TV commercial or social media ad campaign. It's been a lot of fun.
We appreciate Cory taking a few minutes to visit with us and look back. Now we look ahead as Chuck Long rejoins us to talk about all that's in store for 2024.
2024 is going to be a great year for the ISF. We'll kick things off in the new year with the Live Healthy Iowa 10-Week Wellness Challenge, proudly sponsored by the Iowa Food and Family Project, and the Winter Iowa Games presented by Grinnell Mutual, along with Adaptive Sports Iowa programs and events starting up in late winter, early spring. Also, I'd like to note that registration will open for the Summer Iowa Games and Iowa Senior Games on March 1st, which really isn't too far away. I would like to say thank you to all the sponsors, donors, supporters, participants, commissioners, and volunteers who make a huge impact for the Iowa Sports Foundation. Your commitment allows us to continue as a state's leader in providing opportunities for Iowans to live a healthier lifestyle. We sincerely thank you for your support and look forward to continuing our relationship for many years to come. We would love to have you part of our foundation in some way, shape, or form, and there's many ways to do that, either as a participant or as a volunteer or a combination of both. We love to have you get involved. Our website is on the screen. Please join up, come see us. We love to have you part of our foundation.
We wish Chuck and his team all the best in the new year, and we encourage you to get involved and be part of the fun. Check out all the ways that you can be part of the Iowa Sports Foundation in 2024. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in 2024.